Thanks for all 50 of you choosing. We will see how it goes. I did this session last hour, and with 1,000 people all trying to pull in the internet into their devices, it didn't. Things didn't go as were planned. But we were able to troubleshoot and at least show you what I wanted to, except it wasn't quite as interactive as I hoped it would be. So, my name is Mark Runsky. I teach social studies at West and this wee little bit at eAchieve, keeping another prep off of your guys' schedules back there. So, catch my word with you guys. Our goal today, or my goal today, is to show you guys 3 different things. Dealing with Google Apps, extensions, and scripts. I want to define what each of them is, show you a couple of them, and then give you some resources. And I'll give you the website address right there. You don't have to try to copy it down up there. All the information I'm sharing with you guys today, I've been very fortunate to attend 2 Google conferences, one in the Dells, one in Chicago. Everything I'm showing you today is stuff that I picked up down there, and I brought back and shared with people at West and here. So what I've done is the 2 people who I'm kind of stealing, not their presentations outright, but who've shown me the sources, I am giving you their websites so you can see, because their websites will have 50 examples of everything where I will show you 2 or 3 today. I know today's 45 minutes, we're just supposed to show you stuff, and then you guys go back and play with it and see how it fits in, and hopefully you integrate it somewhere along the way today. Hopefully we'll have one interactive part though, about 30 minutes from now. Yeah?
Will the links be available somewhere that we're able to access, like a big district-wide Blackboard?
Well, I will give you the site, the Google site that I've created, which will have the 2 links down there. You can see David Jakes and Molly Schrader. They're 2 kind of Google gurus. And that's where I went to their sites to link, because when I was in their presentations, when they were standing in front of me, so I'll give you that site. I don't know if the district's going to archive them anywhere.
The district is going to create a big, I was just told they're going to create a big folder for all presenters to put, if they made like a Google Doc or anything, to house it all in one spot, so that if you couldn't go to a session, you can find the resources.
Okay. So, anyway, I don't have this is the best I got for a podium here. If you guys have devices and you want to kind of play along, feel free to. If you don't, I think you can just sit back and watch. But one thing as we go to one-to-one and such is you really need to make sure you use Google Chrome on your devices and in your classrooms. Everything I'm going to show you today is Google Chrome stuff. It runs perfectly when you're using the Chrome web browser. If you're using Safari or Internet Explorer or Firefox, it will run portions of it, but it will not run everything flawlessly. I know when I do this, I did a lot of this stuff last year with my students in class, and almost every time they raised their hand and said, this ain't working for me, walked over, and they're using Firefox or a different browser. So switched to Chrome, and it ran for them. So, okay, so I got a Chrome web browser open here, and I have 3 tabs open right now, 4 tabs open. And if you look at the very top, you will see that there's a little slanted rectangle here. If you click on that, that takes you to an open page where you can, type in a new web address. But what appears on the screen right here is Google Apps. And most of your devices will have probably 6 or 7 of them that come preloaded, like the Store, YouTube, Search, Mail, Drive, and such. Everything after that is stuff that I have added to my computer here, all apps that I've added. You can click on right here to go to the Google Chrome Store, or you can go down here to the Web Store. And when you click down there, it will take you to Google's version of the App Store. Okay? And right here is all the different apps that they have to run on your computers. Are there any administrators in the room right now? Excellent. You can download Angry Birds during faculty meetings. But you didn't learn that from me. So, but the App Store is not nearly as big as the Apple App Store, but most of the big popular games are on here, and a number of educational tools. So, I'm just going to click here on education just to show you what some of the different options are. Typing Club comes right up, Planetarium, Geo, Gerba, Type Scout, Anatomy Games, I just added that last hour, Lego Builder. French teachers in the room? Deb, did I see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we add in très bien, and all of a sudden, boom, it pops up on my apps. And I can open it up and dynamic lessons for learning French. Okay, and so grammar, intermediate, travel, medical, beginner. Obviously, like any app that you would download on your iPhone, you'd have to download it, test it out, see if it's worthwhile. But this is where you can find all these, various apps. I'm sure there's, how many people in here are elementary? And middle? High school? Wow, okay. Obviously, the different levels, you would know what you want to be searching for. A couple of my favorites. I love Lucidchart. Okay, Lucidchart is a mind map or graphic organizer here that you can organize your ideas. I teach AP World History. I know last year, once I showed this to a number of my students, they would take all the potential essay prompts for each unit and organize their essays graphically by just going over here and dragging items onto the screen with arrows and such. You can resize them and different things like that to organize various ideas. You can also, when you go to save this, and I don't think I'm going to have time to show you guys this today, and actually I didn't practice this for the presentation, but you can link Lucidchart up to your Google Drive. And so you could, as a teacher, create some Lucidcharts for you to use in class, save them in your Google Drive, and then share them with your students. You can also have students share Lucidcharts among themselves. If they were studying for a test, they'd say, well, let's create a Lucidchart and we'll both work on it from home. It has the same capabilities as a Google Drive document does. Another one, which I have not played with, but my students love, is an app called Quizlet, Q-U-I-Z-L-E-T. My students found this one last year. And what they were doing, it's a flashcard app. And what they were able to do was, for a test, they could create their own flashcards on their phones. And Quizlet allows you to share the sets of flashcards with each other. So I had like 6 students who each did 1/6 of the flashcards for a unit. And they could all go into the flashcards and share them. And they would walk into class on the days of the test and pull out their phones and be flipping through their flashcards on their phones. Now, that's at the high school level where I'm sure middle school, a lot of the kids have their phones and whatnot. But obviously with iPads coming up, if you're in a one-to-one school, that's an app that you could add to your iPad, and they could be sitting there studying for stuff and making, at the end of the period, you could have a wrap-up activity of add 5 flashcards to your Quizlet set for this unit, whatever the case is. So there's just tons of resources out here. Some Bookmaker, here's the biology one. I encourage you guys to play around and see what fits in your classroom. What I like you may not like, and vice versa, and what I don't know of, there may be awesome stuff in here that just doesn't relate to social studies. So I don't know to point it in your direction, whatever your courses are, you can check it out. But that's the Google App Store. Okay, any questions at all about the App Store?
So the more apps you have, does it make your computer run slower?
I've not had that problem yet.
Laptops?
So I'd like to think
Is
with,
it
I'd like to think
laptops?
with Apple products, they just don't run slow ever. So, but I'm biased, so, I've not had a problem with it though. I've not, this is, we got these last year, so I've had it for over a year. I have everything on it, I use it hours each day, and it's running just like it did when I got it the first day. So, but I'm sure over time, everything will slow down. So.
Question? The Chromebooks that we're going to be getting for the kids here at South, I assume they can just log into their account and this will all still be.
Yeah, I've never logged onto a Chromebook myself, but the fact it's a Chromebook means Chrome's going to be on it, it's going to be the web browser, all this stuff's going to work on Chromebooks perfectly.
The district's not going to limit what, apps the kids can.
I don't think, you know, from the people I've talked to and from other, you know, our district is about as open-minded on not limiting stuff and giving the kids, you know, letting us have YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and everything else. I know other districts don't do that, so I've not heard of anything. Not to say something won't happen, but I think we're pretty progressive as a district in at least that way. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna show you guys are extensions. And when you find extensions by going to the web store as well. And extensions is kind of what it sounds like. It extends the power of your web browser. Okay? When you download extensions, they show up right up here on your search bar line. So you can see that I have an extension for Google Mail that I've installed, and it tells me that I have 4 messages that have come in since I logged in an hour ago. Okay? Unfortunately, let's see what I can do here in terms of screen size. No, that's not working. Okay. The extensions I have up here, and I apologize for them being so small. One is my Gmail up. Let me go to a couple of websites so I'll show you what these extensions can do. I don't know if you've ever, I'm just going to go to MSNBC here, whatever their headline is. As someone who teaches government frequently, will open class with, let's check out the newspaper, see what's going on in the world today, and whatever article you want to talk about is right there, but there's 6 other articles and advertisements scattered on the page that draw in the kids' attention, and of course we can't even download a web page this morning. Let's try the Journal Sentinel, see if they're any faster. There we go. Okay. So, you pull this up, you want to talk about healthcare today in class, but you got all this other stuff going on. You just want the article, so you click on the article, and there's still other stuff that's popping up all around. There is an extension called Clearly. And when I click on Clearly, what it does is it just pulls up the article and gets rid of everything else. So if you do, I mean, I understand we're all going to be, for the next few years, at different levels of implementation of one-to-one. If you're still a ways away and you're going to be using Xerox still for a year or two, okay, but you are sick and tired of cutting articles out and then having to trim them and paste them on a sheet of paper or into the Xerox machine, here you go. You can just print the article with everything gone. This also will save in an app called Evernote. You can save the article right in there, and that will allow you to annotate the article as well. So you can just annotate right over the top of it if you have Evernote installed on your computer. Okay, so you can do some highlighting and different things like that. You have to sign into Evernote for that, and we only have 45 minutes today. So, but that extension is called Clearly, C-L-E-A-R-L-Y.
Can you explain real quickly what you mean by an extension?
An extension extends the power of your web browser, okay? And the extensions will show up that you've installed up here. I only have like half a dozen of them installed. There's like 6 that I use on a pretty regular basis.
The things you can do when you're in a website, they basically add features to what you can do when you're
And
in a website.
an app is an application, it's something that you're downloading and adding into your computer. An extension, just when you're on the web, it allows you to do something on the web that, you couldn't otherwise do, like get rid of all the advertising.
So the Clearly is there already, or we have to download it?
No, you'd have to download it and add it,
Like an app?
right, like an app. Yep.
Okay.
You download it just like an app. There are apps and extensions
And you find it at the store?
in the store, yep. Yep. If you are in the Chrome store, you can type in Clearly, and then there will be apps that come up with the word Clearly in the description, and there will be extensions that come up with the word Clearly in them, and you go down to extensions, and you'll find Clearly there. Okay? So, there's one example of what an extension can do.
Mark, are you able to delete those if you decide later you're not?
Yes, you can totally remove them as well. There, a lot of times, like, I know when I download apps off, I'm not sure if it's any good or not, so I play with it for a while, and you can totally go in and delete it and get rid of it if you don't like it. Because, I'm gonna show you some today that I like, you may not like them. So you try it out, you go, oh, that's stupid, I'm not gonna use that. So you get rid of them and find one that you do. Okay. All right, so that is clearly, now, let's say there's just something on this page that you want to have a portion of the page captured, a screen capture. So I have an extension that will allow me to capture the visible part of the page. So basically take a picture of my computer screen, or I can capture a selected area of my screen, or the entire page. I'm going to capture a selected area. You can see my screen goes dark here. But what I can do is I can create this box and drag it over. Let's say I'm doing a project where I'm doing a project on the media, and I want the Journal Sentinel logo. Click capture, and boom, I just have a picture of the logo. Or if I want that headline, I can click done here, and boom, there it's saved for me. I can go back to the Journal Sentinel here. And if I want the headline, I'm going to capture the let's see here, I still have that one open. Capture the selected area, I just want this headline. I can just drag right over the headline and capture that.
What's that extension?
This extension is called Awesome Screenshot. But what you'll find is if you type in screenshot into the extension store, there's probably going to be 6 or 10 different screenshot extensions that are there. These are ones that when I was at the Google conferences, these are ones they showed, the presenter showed that they used, and so we're all sitting there, we all downloaded them, and now I'm showing it to you. But there may be a better one that's been released with more features since I installed this one, but this is the one I'm familiar with. Another one here that I frequently use is a screen sizer. If I have a bunch of windows open, I know I have an online textbook, so when I am creating an assignment to go with the online textbook, I want both screens out, and I can just click here, and boom, it pops up and minimizes the screen to exactly half the screen, going vertically or horizontally, or if I want 3 screens up, okay, or I want 4 quads, okay. It just automatically will resize it that way, then I don't have to pull the corners, and that sort of thing.
What is that one called, Mark?
This one is called Tab Resize. T-A-B R-E-S-I-Z-E. Tab Resize. Okay, and the last one I'll show you here real quick before we move on to scripts. You got a web address you want to share with people, and you get the really, really long web address up there, and you got to copy and paste it and send it around, or you write it on the board for all your students to type it in. Kind of a pain in the butt. So there is a URL shortener that if I'm on the web page right here, and I click on shorten it, it'll shorten that entire web address to, and I realize I'm off, let me pull this over here just a bit for you guys. Now I lost it. Okay, this entire web address can be shortened to goo.gl/v0xm99. And so you can throw that on your board or email that to your students or parents, put it in a document, much shorter than a real long address like that. And this one is called URL shortener. And there's a bunch of those apps out there as well. Tom?
Are you able to customize what it says?
There are ones out there that I believe can do that, but I don't have one. I've never looked into that, but I believe there are. I don't know if those are free though, or if there'd be a fee for that. Okay. So that's an extension. Extends the power of your web browser. The icons show up right up here. Any questions at all about extensions? Yeah.
Another extension that I use a lot, I'm an English teacher in YouTube, and we use, if the student wants something to be read aloud to them from the programs that you have to actually physically download onto your computer from a disk. It's a really easy extension. And it does a little computer voice, but it's not too bad.
Okay, cool. All right, so no questions? All right. The last thing then that I want to show you guys today is what's called a Google Script. And I know that wasn't in the title of the session, but it is a pretty powerful tool if you have it. And this is where we'll get a little interactive if we can get a good signal here in the room. Okay? All right. Now, a script, okay, well, let me, this is the one script that I've used. There's a bunch of them out there. I saw this one in Chicago this last year. I showed it to the faculty at West last year, and they absolutely loved it. This is a website I created for today. You can see my long address up there. I shortened it to this right here. If you have a device and want to play along today, all right, why don't you go to this website right here, http:// Now, capitals and lowercase matter on the URL shorteners. Okay? Lowercase GOO .gl / capital Z lowercase q capital B little u capital U lowercase m. Okay, and if I copied that down right and you entered it in right, it should take you to this website.
Yeah.
Is it working? Okay, now this is where things fell apart during the first presentation because we all were pulling in the building here on the signal, so this may or may not work, but we'll give it a shot. There is a quiz, okay, on the sidebar over here, quiz, Google form. I'm not sure if it did come up with the welcome page. Yep. Okay, click on the quiz, and there's a 10-question quiz. Now this is where things started to crash. It would not load. I couldn't get it to load last hour either. Did I get it today or this hour? Yes, I did. What I'd like you guys to do is, let's take 5 minutes real quick. This quiz is an American government quiz. You do not need to give me your real name. I don't expect everyone to know the answers here. So if you'd like to hide your real name, so I can't tease you or you're not embarrassed, feel free to. Okay, if I had prizes, we'd give a prize away to the most creative name you come up with. But your name, and then do your best at the 10 questions that I've asked you to answer. And we'll talk through what I was thinking when I wrote the questions, and I'll show you how they can be used. Okay? So I'll give you guys a couple minutes here to do that, and I will take the quiz as well. I'm just going to close that off there. Did anyone only get the first portion of the quiz to load? That's what happened last hour, was only the first 3 questions loaded for most people. Okay, take the quiz, and we'll be back here in a second. Screen that looks like that right up there that just says, thanks for submitting your quiz. And it says, please answer these questions to the best of your ability. That's what I titled the quiz as, just so it'd be nice and bold for us today. You could have the title of the document up there, and that's what it'll appear. How many people were able to take the whole 10-question quiz? Okay, how many people got locked out somewhere along the way? Okay, all right.
Mark, can I ask a question about
Yeah.
that? Because you're using this in your classroom right now, does that happen when you have all of your students doing that at once?
I have used this in lab situations where they're all hardwired, so we have not had a problem. I've used it during staff developments. When it's just the faculty in the building, we have not had problems. We're not one-to-one yet, so I will tell you next September if it works. So. Okay, well here was, I mean, not to insult your intelligence, you guys are, know what you're doing here, but when I was writing these questions up, I kind of wanted to come up with some questions that I would potentially want to ask my students coming into class someday. So next year at West, on Tuesday over at North, you guys are going to have iPads. You could have, by the way, this is done on a Google form. So you do need to have background knowledge on Google Forms to do it, but that's something that you can learn and figure out different time and place if you're not familiar with it. Say I gave them a reading on the American Revolution, and I wanted to find out when they're coming into class, what did they get from the reading from last night? And so the first few questions here, question 1, obviously total recall. The next three questions, not necessarily a right or wrong answer, but just questions to let me see what they got from the reading. Question 5, open-ended. What questions do you still have? A couple more factual questions. And if the board work for the day, the opener is go to your Gmail account, pull up the quiz I emailed to you, or that I put in Blackboard for you. You can have them do this in the first 3-4 minutes of class. Now, you can see right here, responses. There are 22 people that have taken this quiz between the people last hour who could get in and the people in here who could. Okay? Let me show you first what I'm going to do here. Script Manager. Scripts is the third thing I want to show you guys today. A script is basically a program that you can install in Google Drive or Google Spreadsheets to have it do something additional for you. I'm going to go to Script Manager. No, I'm not going to go to Script Manager. I'm going to go to, where's that's not what I want. 1 second. There we go. Into responses. Here are all the responses that have been sent in. They get sent in the form of a spreadsheet. Now, I'm going to go to, hopefully it shows up here, I'm going to go to Tools, I'm going to go to Script Gallery, and the script that I'm going to share with you guys today is called Flubberoo. Funny name, powerful script. Okay, and I'm going to install it right now. This has not been pre-installed. So I wanted to show you guys how fast you could do this in your classes. All right, I am going to authorize it to install. I'm going to give it permission to access all of those things. And now I close it out, and you will see that I now have Flubberoo. Let me zoom in on this a little bit for you guys. Okay, Flubberoo was now installed on this spreadsheet. I click on Flubberoo, and Flubberoo is a quiz grader. So I'm going to say, grade the assignment. Now what you have to do is you have to go through and you have to basically set up how you want it graded. So it's going to, for every question that you've written, it's going to ask you what you want to do. Okay? Based on last night's reading, this I believe is going to be what inspired the revolutions. The correct answer is the Enlightenment. I want that to be worth 1 point. The first name of the student is just going to identify the student. The next 4 questions were open-ended questions where there's not a right or a wrong answer. So in lieu of assigning them 1 point, I'm just going to say skip grading. So I don't want the quiz to grade those. In what year was the Constitution written is going to be 1 point. Where do you find we the people? What right is not found in the First Amendment? 1 point each. Now that class is over with, which thinker do you have most questions about? We're going to skip the grading there. And describe one way that the ideas apply to you. We'll skip the grading on that one. We click continue. Now, you have to have an answer key. I'll get to your question in 1 second now, okay? Everyone here had told me what their names were when they took the quiz. I created one that said key. So that's my answer key. I'm going to say use the answer key as the key for the quiz. I click continue, it's grading the assignment, and we're done. It's now graded all those quizzes for you, okay, and gives you all the breakdowns of what everybody's scores are. Okay, Fritz got 100%, Sheldon got 100%. Okay, Timmy Frank, Rose, we're gonna put you guys in a small little group. And get you guys together. Okay? And then you can go through here and check out and see what they put for their answers. But now the really powerful part here is in data, well, in show summary responses under form. This is what I love. Okay, so you have an opener going, the kids take the quiz. Those first few questions were designed as a way to see what they got from last night's reading. The French Revolution, 13 people said the French Revolution inspired the American Revolution. Unfortunately, the French Revolution was 1789, the American Revolution was 1776. So I need to reteach that. Okay, I need to jump in and say, no, 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 guys, it's the other way around. The American Revolution inspired the French Revolution. 7 people got the Enlightenment. 1 person said Darwin, 1 person said the Scientific Revolution. But I have a huge misunderstanding in my class on the French Revolution. I gotta nip that in the bud right away or I can't move on. Open-ended questions here. What are the top 3 reasons for the American Revolution? You just, Miley Cyrus's dance, obviously. All right. Packers won the Super Bowl, okay? We got some Boston Tea Party ones right here, okay? That's not bad. Boston Massacre. Too tired to read. Yes, all right, that's what we're going to hear on Tuesday. But you can look at these and get a sense as to what were the kids focusing on, what did they think was important, and once again, look for the trends, look for themes. Okay? Down here, some more pie charts. You can see how people did here. Constitution was written in 1787, my friends. 5 of you, 4 of you got it right. 1776 was the Declaration. As someone who's taught government, students frequently get those 2 documents mixed up all the time. We declare our independence, we have to fight a war, and then we get our government. And then, down at the bottom, now that class is over, which enlightenment figure do you least understand? Great way for me to plan my lesson for tomorrow. Who do they get? Who do they not get? And I can see right here that it's pretty much split 4 ways. I better reteach that tomorrow morning because they're all over the board on who they do and don't understand.
Now, you said that you made your quiz, or you made your key while everybody else was
Yep, when I flipped that over, I made my key.
Is there a way for a student, when they get it done, to know immediately how they did
Yes.
on it?
Yes, you can set, that's all can be set up. I'm keeping it simple today. And like I said, I've not used this with students. I've used it very small with students in a couple of questions in a lab setting. Well, all 4, I see this being the most powerful for telling me what do you have coming in, help me guide me at the beginning of the class or at the end. But yes, you can give them immediate feedback and responses. Anna, I said I'd get back to you.
Well, it was good that you had me wait because I think I know the answer to the question. Because I was wondering why you would do that rather than just go through Blackboard, but it's the analytical part.
Yeah, this is what blows me away when you can have all this. But something very similar to this can be done in Blackboard too. But I think this is really, really fast, you know. And I love the little charts that come up here at the end, and it gets generated really quick. Sometimes Blackboard doesn't do that for us. So. Yeah.
Can the data for a single student in the spreadsheet be sent to a form so it looks like a normal test?
Can you send the data that a student is, so a student's answers?
Right. So
Can
we
you
put on
export that?
to a form so where you have the questions and the answers?
That I don't know. That I don't know. I mean, you get the spreadsheet, the student can get, you can set it up where the student will get their where they get their score and feedback back.
Okay.
Is that what you, in terms of a form like for record keeping purposes or like to email home to parents, that I'm not sure of right now. That I don't know right now, if that can do that or not. Okay, any other questions at all?
The initial app that you showed, the Mind Map app, what is that called?
Lucid Chart, L-U-C-I-D C-H-A-R-T, Lucid Chart. All right, that's what I wanted to share. If you guys don't have any questions, I will let you go. I thank you guys for choosing the session. I hope there's at least something you can walk away from and use somewhere in your classes. Thanks for coming.